obviously not the best game week to start with. And also, thank you so much, Gothic Van Life. Thank you so much for the donation. Merry Christmas to yourself, to you and your family, and to everyone else here as well. So yeah, best of. You prefer me to Andy? I mean, I think Andy's obviously kind of the father of FPL YouTube, so I do look up to him a lot. But obviously, I hope my content is unique as well, and that's all I can really say on that. Merry Christmas to everyone. Carolyn Johnson says, I've made my decision not to use my chip but take a hit. Yeah, I think that's completely fair. I think that's the most logical decision just because there's so many maybe more fruitful game weeks coming up, especially in a week where I think the differentials for the free hit aren't there. Last week we had, if you look at, for example, the highest scoring player in the world, I think he was mostly deep into Wolves assets and he had Kevin De Bruyne. So with the exception of Kevin De Bruyne, who is still present this week, I would say you don't really have that kind of outside shot differentials with your free hit. My cup run has been terrible, Brandon. I'll let you know I've been knocked out the first week versus someone who had Gallagher in his team. TV Tall says, hi, Fran. Grealish or Gundogan? So the interesting thing I think is Grealish is actually more nailed than Gundogan. And that's actually quite an interesting thing because potentially for the long term, Grealish is a better option. Now, Gundogan, however, I think is or Gundogan is actually probably better for points in terms of explosiveness. And I think in this specific fixture, I would prefer Gundogan, but we'll see what happens there. How does Ronaldo and Bowen to Jesus and Saka sound just to get 10 playing players? I think Jesus is a pretty good pick since he was on the bench. I think so. There's a lot of rotation between Jesus and Mahrez, so I think if this is the week you think that Jesus will play, there's a very high chance that he'll play. The one fear, of course, is that Mahrez looks very, very good, and Jesus might have to spend another week on the bench, but we'll see what happens there. Harold says, hello. Hey, Harold. Hope you're doing well. GLVM885 says, had 7 available after my transfers, had to use free hit. I mean, I have 7 available, and I'm probably not going to free hit, so that's kind of my opinion on that. So if I show you my team now, this is my team, and I've just transferred out Antonio for Watkins in the previous night, so this was before his price increase. I am very tempted for going for at least one Arsenal player. That's probably going to be a defender. I might drop Lamptey. The reason why I'm dropping, or I want to drop Lamptey, is just because what we've seen so far, I think, is this Brighton side will definitely struggle with, unfortunately, with Dunk coming out of the team, and with the amount of injuries they have, I kind of find it hard to see how Lamptey will provide any kind of points. Obviously, I'd like to have Lamptey during this run over here, but we'll see what happens there. I still have Delo, who is another option as well that I can take out of the team, especially if I keep De Gea. That's another option as well. If I, let's say, drop Delo and then go into an Arsenal defender this week, that would be quite nice if I don't want to go into Ramsdale, just because I think De Gea has good fixtures. When I'm looking at the price rises, though, I'm quite tempted by Tomiyasu, even from a tactical approach as well. Smith Rowe and Saka, I'm not that interested in. I think if I wanted to go for an Arsenal midfielder, I actually would go for Martinelli at this point in time. I think Saka's probably, I would still prefer just a little bit more than Smith. I know Smith Rowe has been consistently scoring goals, but I think Saka has been very consistent this season from creating chances. And the one thing I think is that you want to have players over this period who are consistent for minutes. We know Smith Rowe's minutes haven't been consistent whatsoever. There's a high chance he does play the full game today, but that's what I think is the benefit of Saka, even though it seems like Smith Rowe has been consistently holding above him. You faced 3 top 1 mil players so far. I mean, honestly, I lost to a top, I think, 4 mil player, so I don't even want to talk about it. Should you captain Bernardo Silva? I would probably say no. I'd prefer another Man City player, just because the situation is that Bernardo is coming off of what is supposedly a niggle. Maybe he comes off the second half. You heard Villa Burnley might be off. Is that the case? We can have a look at the news if you want. So it doesn't seem like there's any kind of specific news, unless I'm missing something. Yeah, I can't really see any people reacting too much to any Aston Villa news. Although obviously Right, so this is the developing situation. So we'll see what happens. I guess we'll just stay close to Greg Evans, who's probably a correspondent, and we'll keep a tab on that, to be honest, over the course of the episode. If let's say Aston Villa Burnley gets cancelled, then I'm probably just going to take a free hit and then cancel my Watkins transfer. I will take a quick look at Twitter very quickly. Very good shout, Luke, by the way. Dr. Malcolm says, hope your weekend's going well. My weekend in real life is going well. In FPL, not so much. Alex Riley says, hey, Fran, would you get Watkins in turning one? I definitely would if the Villa game is continuing, but I guess we can just wait for that. Dr. Malcolm says, Ramsdale, Trent, Cancelo, Reece, Alonso, Jota, Salah, Foden, Watkins with Gallagher, Benteke, Bowen. That's fine. I think was thinking Bowen, Gallagher to... I think the Gallagher to Saka and Gundogan, I think those are good transfers. I would be happy to do that. Is it worth having 2 playing keepers? At this point in time, yes, but I wouldn't... It's always hard to deliberate when you want to take a -4 for a second keeper. I would say if you have 1 playing keeper this week, do not make that second transfer. If you were me, would you take Grealish considering more nailed on? Probably, yeah. If the situation in your team is that you need someone who's more nailed on, then that could be a good shout. I like Foden in priority, then I like Gundogan, then I like Grealish, but just for the fixture. I think Foden is 100% a keep. He might not play a lot, but that's how it is. 16 Gothic Fan Life says 16 King World, 11 playing 3 City, 3 Liverpool, 2 Ars, 1 Villa. That's perfect. So you got 3 City, you got 3 Liverpool, 2 Arsenal, 1 Villa, 2 Chelsea. Interesting. So I mean you've got a playing 11, don't you? So I think you could actually roll, right? In that situation, unless I'm mistaken. Do you feel 10 or take a hit to get Ramsdale for Sanchez? I think Ramsdale for Sanchez is a fantastic transfer. The only reason why I'm not tempted to go for Ramsdale from De Gea as a De Gea owner myself is just because I think De Gea has great fixtures himself. And Sanchez, on the other hand, is definitely struck by the injuries and their fixtures aren't perfect if you look at the situation of their defense. Ings is differential to Watkins. I mean, he's going to be a differential, but I'm not even sure if Ings is going to get consistent minutes in this team because I think Gerrard is trying to move to a structure where everyone has to be involved in the press, everyone has to be involved from a physical point of view, and I think Watkins is probably going to be the consistent starter, and I'm not sure Ings will get consistent minutes, but we'll see what happens. Has news changed with Aston Villa? Or are we just kind of reacting to the same news? Seems like we're reacting to the same news. Free hits does cancel transfers. Yes, absolutely. I will be checking DMs in a quick second. There goes your 3 Burnley assets. Yeah, that's a good joke, Cliff. Had to make a GK transfer, Sanchez. Yeah, I think that's fine, guys. If you're moving from Sanchez, who seems like he's downtrending just due to the defensive situation at Brighton, I think that's fine. Even idiotic -4 transfers that shouldn't have happened in the first place, absolutely Gronk. For 1 week only. Yeah, Mohit. So we saw the same news. We'll see what happens there. Would it be good to captain Cancelo for this game week? I think he's a good shout. What would you say is the best captain in this game week? Honestly, I would say Kevin De Bruyne is the best captain this game week. Do a lot of us have Kevin De Bruyne? I don't think so. That's a separate kind of issue. And then I think if you're looking at other Man City players, maybe Cancelo has a good ceiling, Foden has a good ceiling, Gundogan has a good ceiling. We'll see who else can be a part of that. I think if you're looking outside of that game, you might want to vice captain someone like a Watkins. But if Aston Villa is cancelled, you might want to vice captain someone like Lacazette. The reason why is because people are making very good points where, due to the potential of postponements, you might want to have a vice captain on one day and then a captain on another day, kind of like in UCL Fantasy or Euro Fantasy. Which Arsenal defender do you think is better to be taken, White, Tomiyasu, or Gabriel? Look, honestly, I think if you want to play Gabriel consistently, I would go for Gabriel because I think he has a very strong chance of scoring goals. He could have already scored 3 goals this season from headers. He's on 2 right now, and as soon as he came out of his injury situation and he joined the Arsenal defense, you'll actually see that Arsenal's defensive stats have improved a lot, especially with their clean sheets. The latest on Villa, there's no real updates, but we're keeping tabs on this reporter here, Greg Evans, who's a Aston Villa reporter, and he should hopefully give us the situation or the update on whether the Burnley game goes on. So I'll keep you guys, in touch with that. If the situation is that that game is cancelled, I think it makes sense to go for a free hit potentially, and or maybe just roll, because the situation is so dire. We don't even know whether the City game and the Chelsea game will continue. So those are kind of the thoughts in my head. I could also just free hit, completely absolve myself of Watkins, and then just bring back a team where I play very, very deep into Arsenal, and then probably just go for triple City, maybe 2 Chelsea, and then triple Liverpool, something like that. But we don't know what... It has been cancelled. Is that the case? Oh my god, guys. Wow. Okay. What? Oh, that's funny. That's funny. So what are our plans, guys? Should we free hit? Maybe more games get called off. I mean, honestly, they should just cancel this game week at this point. But we're so close to the deadline. I have no idea what the Premier League is going to do. That's mental. uh, that's comical. Let's just retweet that. Well, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? So I don't know about free hitting, guys. I think the thing is, we could go into Arsenal players, right? Because I don't think there's a huge outbreak in Leeds in Arsenal. Hi, Rishab. I'm doing well. The game is called off, guys. Yeah, have a look at this great piece of news. That's a shame. Cash, Tierney, or Tomiyasu? Probably Tomiyasu at this point. Do you think Grealish is playing? Probably, yeah. What do we do about Watkins? Interesting news. I could free hit, right? Because that would just bring me back to Antonio. Glad to have caught the stream for once. Yeah, good to see you as well, Arte. Laka, they take away our only decent try. They have to push the deadline back, though, right, guys? Don't they have to push the deadline back? Because if the Aston Villa game is cancelled, the deadline should be pushed back, right? That's hilarious. All right, let's just actually respond to Twitter for a bit, just because it's funny. Rams and Gundogan seem worth it if they play. Agree. Damien says, got 8 to take a play. Can go for Watkins. Oh, cancel Watkins. I think if you wanted to take one, I'd probably be a bit more of a fan of Tierney this week. Jordan says, how are you looking this week? Well, not very good, to be honest. And Jordan, you actually don't even have an Aston Villa player, so you're still in a great position. Harold says, I was thinking Gilmore to Smith Rowe or Saka. That means I would have taken a -8. I mean, it could be worth it, right? Because Gilmore's not going to provide anything. I think Saka's nice because he has Norwich next potentially, so he could play. Brandon Jenks says, this is my cup opponent. What are your thoughts on his team matched up against my team? I mean, your team looks decent. Unfortunately, you've lost Watkins. But I don't think you'll be in a sticky situation at all. I mean, Tomiyasu's there for him. He's probably going to be in a bad situation. I think you'll be fine. James says, hi, Fran. Antonio to Watkins, and then, well, you got to cancel that, unfortunately. Or keep De Gea and go for, is that Tierney? Yeah. I think Tierney is a good shout. Is that they have Norwich and Norwich. I mean, honestly, the whole league should be postponed. I really have no idea what is going on. F in the chat. Yeah, F in the chat for myself, but I could be free hitting, so we'll see what happens. Cancelo or Foden for captaincy? I'm probably more tempted to say Foden. Put Lacazette. Yeah, definitely. If you're free hitting, I think Lacazette's interesting. Best City midfielders, I think Kevin De Bruyne first priority. If you don't want to fit Kevin De Bruyne in your team, then I would just say probably go for Foden. Maybe Sterling's a shout. I like Gundogan as well this game week. I'm captaining whom and why. I've got Foden at this point in time. May as well cancel the Premier League when only 8 teams are playing. Fran, I have 7 players playing now that the Villa game is off. I don't know what to do. Oh, you would be in the same situation as me, my friend. Do you know your final team selection? Absolutely not, Greg. I could be looking at a free hit. Happy holidays to everyone as well. And if you guys could just kindly like the stream, that would be really appreciated, or even subscribe to the channel. Par says, now his game is called off. Dalot to White, a good move. You've 9 playing. I think that's a good move. I free Arsenal. I can't buy Laka. Oh, no. Who do you actually have? 3 Arsenal. Laka or Saka? I'd probably say Saka just because he doesn't affect your team long term. Is it worth free hitting or waiting for double game week? Sell Tony. This is my cup opponent. What are your thoughts on his team? Match day against my team. Um, you can't really sell Tony for anyone else, right? So who would you sell Tony for? Would you sell Tony for Gelhardt from Leeds? That could be a move. Yassine says, "Hey, Fran, I'm thinking about getting a second GK playing Ramsdale. What are the transfers?" I mean, I wouldn't get. Yeah, I see what I mean. You could obviously drop Livermento for an Arsenal defender. That's a viable option. You could also maybe just go out of Gallagher if you'd like, but I think Gallagher's a nice game. At this point in time, you're kind of in a bad situation because I honestly think you might just take this week as a blank, guys, and just play it as it is. That could be a very good shout as well. We just speculate at this point. Yeah, I will be focused. The deadline has to move. Yeah, the deadline has moved, guys. So, well, we've got a little bit of an Aston Villa panic stream right now, and then we can react to the deadline later. So yeah, that's the situation right now. Yeah, the deadline has just moved. What do you guys want to do? Do you guys want me to do a 4-hour stream, or should we just kind of reconvene at around 3 p.m. UK time? I think honestly, if some of you guys are like in some part of the world where you are dealing with maybe not being able to make the deadline at 3 p.m. or 4 p.m., I think we can first discuss what we want. Let's draft a free hit team, right? With Aston Villa not playing. Let's just do that first. Let's just, okay, I mean, let's bring Salah and Foden back. I mean, I'm not going to cancel Rafinha. I mean, I could cancel. Let's just cancel. Let's just okay, let's not cancel James. Not canceling Cancelo. Right, okay, so this is what we do if we're free hitting, right? So, who's the priority player this week? I would say De Bruyne is interesting, but we probably won't be able to afford him, so that probably means that we have to drop Jota, unfortunately. If we go for Arsenal players, then I would like to go for Martinelli, to be quite honest, and then I would go for Ramsdale as my keeper this week. I would go for well, I can't go for Martinez anymore. So who's the cheap keeper playing in this game week? I mean, I guess it has to be Sa, right? Because all the other teams are big teams. You could go for Mesle, who's overpriced for no reason. And I really doubt they get a clean sheet versus Arsenal. So we're probably looking at goalkeepers. I mean, it has to be Sa, doesn't it, as your bench keeper this week? But it doesn't look pretty. That situation doesn't look good. The reason why we'd go for Sa is because he plays on another day, so that's kind of like a big benefit, and I don't think we want to spend our triple up on a more expensive keeper when we rather have outfield players from City and things like that. So if we drop Jota for now, take him out of the team, we clearly have Trent still. Alonso still seems fine. I think Alonso's the cheapest kind of defender from Chelsea, right? So that could be a shout. However, you also have the chance of getting an Arsenal defender, but just due to the forward situation being so bad, you have to field at least one forward, so that just means we have to go for Lacazette. However, you could also go for Gelhardt, right? Because Gelhardt has a fantastic chance of playing because Dan James is injured from Leeds, so that's a good situation. I've got a squad of 7, so I'm tempted to free hit, so we'll see what happens. Deadline hasn't moved according to FPL. What's going on there, guys? Should we have a look at Twitter? Has it not been moved yet? Villa game postponed. Deadline has been postponed. Thank you so much, JL. Villa game postponed. Absolutely, yep, you're right. Good stuff. Crazy news day. So let's have a look. So, okay, so we have Salah, we have Ramsdale. We play Ramsdale as our first keeper. We play James, Alexander-Arnold, and Cancelo. This is one of the problems with the with this week, right? Where your defenders are probably going to still be these top 3 defenders, and you're not going to have a huge differential. You're not going to have a huge differential with Salah, which means that you need a captaincy that is kind of interesting. Maybe you could actually go for, I was going to say Ramsey, but he's actually gone. What other forwards do we have really available at reasonable prices from these teams? I mean, there's no options, right? I'm not interested in Jimenez. Huang's injured. Well, this is like one of the worst game weeks ever. Honestly, I think maybe it's just better to treat it as a blank. Obviously, we can just go for a pure gutter option, so we can just go for someone who actually doesn't play at all, which is going to be rough. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we just like do it like that, right? And then we just have two Leeds players who are just not going to do anything for us. If we want to diversify defense, I guess we have Davies now as an option from Tottenham. Because now the Aston Villa defenders are gone. So that's going to change things. We probably want to double up on City defense, but we can't do that because we're the midfield. So at that point, we're just going for a double up on Chelsea defense, right? Because Van Dijk has COVID, and then we don't have enough money to go for Robertson if we're going for De Bruyne, probably. And do we really expect Liverpool to get a clean sheet versus Spurs? Maybe not. So maybe you just go for... Do you just go for Dyer, or do you go for Alonso? If we go for Alonso, let's see who can we fit as a midfielder. Unfortunately, you can't fit another Arsenal midfielder. So it's a pretty bad position. Chelsea-wise, like, how can we target Chelsea? I mean, it's going to be Mount, who we don't have enough money for. We could drop Alonso, and that might give us enough money. Doesn't seem like that's the case, though. We might have to drop someone else in the team. If we dropped Foden, I don't see that as a viable option either. You could drop James, you could go Alonso, you could go for a really trash defender. That's another option, but then I'm not even sure if it's worth dropping James this week. You'd free up funds for Jota. The one thing with Jota is what if Firmino plays this week? Show us the jersey. I've got a Real Madrid jersey here, so we'll see what happens. Christensen, it's a good shout. What about Chalobah from Chelsea? Actually, it's a decent pick, right? Okay, so we're pretty close. We're working there. Who else could we drop? You could drop Foden for someone like I think Gundogan is actually cheap, right? What if we because let's say if we dropped Foden, right? What if we just did this? What do you guys think? Is it crazy? I'm going to quickly react to some Twitter. But actually, let's just have a look at it. You drop Saw. Who would you drop Saw for, though? The thing is, right, like, think about it. Chelsea are missing so many key players. Lukaku has COVID. So that's a big thing. And then you've got no need for a second keeper. Why? Because you think the Arsenal game will 100% go on, right? That's actually a good that's a good shout, actually. Good point. But I'm pretty stupid today. Goalkeepers. Yeah, so we just go for absolute trash keeper, right? Are there any 3.9 keepers in the game right now? I don't think so, right? Okay, that's fine. Okay, whatever. So yeah, we have Ramsdale. We have actually money in the bank now. It's a very good point. So we just go back to Foden, I guess. So we go back to Foden. Are there any other upgrades we could make? How much is Tyler Roberts, actually? 4.8. Not worth it, though, because we want to go 5 midfield. Do we really want to keep Jota? Like, are we sure he plays 100%? Firmino does seem fit. Carson. Well, there's no point of going for Carson, right? Because Gunnarsson's a good shout, actually. But Gunnarsson and Carson prevents you guys from triple Arsenal and triple City. So there's no point. Is it really worth free hitting for these games? I don't think so. But if you have, let's say, 6 playing players, it could be worth it, right? Because you're never going to get those 6 games back. Wait, what is going on this game week? What an absolute slur word show. Jota to Mount. Yeah, I actually think Jota to Mount is a good shout if we want to go for But the question is, like, Wolves have their full defense, right? Wolves have their full defense, and it's a tricky situation. How much is Firmino actually? Is it crazy to go Firmino? He's too expensive. Yeah, he's too expensive. Mount's clearly their talisman, but they're still playing at Molineux. So yeah, I guess it would be that, right? You'd probably field the squad. You play 3-5. Well, you actually could play a 4-5-2. You could just play Chalobah first. Did play 11 minutes in the last game, but I mean, if Chalobah comes off the bench, you probably want to relegate him quite further back. We have enough money for. We do have enough money for Christensen, but has Christensen been playing consistent minutes either? I mean, since he's had that kind of contract situation, he hasn't been playing consistently either. So you have the same kind of situation with Christensen potentially coming off the bench, and then not providing anything. I don't think Spurs are that scary. I agree with that. They are way off pace, but they've had 2 weeks to kind of train. We don't know. I mean, obviously they've had suspended training as well. Double Liverpool risky against Spurs. I don't think double Liverpool is that risky against Spurs. I think Salah and Trent is good enough. But I agree, you don't need a triple Liverpool. It's now 4 p.m. Yeah, I agree. You say put on Saka. So you drop Martinelli. The problem with dropping Martinelli is you now miss basically what should be a Mount, what should be a Jota. Do you know what I mean? So we have to go for what? A Chelsea midfielder. And we can't even go Jorginho because it seems like he's injured. So like if we look at Chelsea midfielder, right? Like who can we really go for from this Chelsea team? I'm not that. I don't. Havertz apparently is ill or something. Oh, Kovacic is actually interesting. That's an interesting shout. If you want to fit in a midfielder, and if you want to upgrade to Saka, that's fine. We can do Saka. We can also upgrade Chalobah at this point in time, right? We can just go for Alonso. You could do that. Because then you could play a 4-4-2. Kovacic off the bench. Sorry, you could still play a 4-5-1. Davies first bench, Gelhardt second bench probably, and then Greenwood like third bench. That would be an okay. You could play that maybe. I don't think that's a bad team at all. Wolves only conceded 2 against City and Liverpool, and that's exactly why I would rather have 2 Chelsea defenders, right? Because we know Wolves aren't a high-scoring team. If you've got the chance to play Chelsea versus Wolves defenders, I think that's the better position because you don't necessarily need a Chelsea attacker this game week. Kovacic is a great off-the-bench option. We know he 100% will be forced to play. If he comes off the bench, that's a decent start. Is it worth taking a -4? Apparently Martinelli might not played, got deleted, so we'll see what happens. Kovacic is back, yeah. I'm not 100% certain about the free hit. I could do it, but the thing is, there are so many interesting double game weeks around the future. So let's actually just go to Ben Krellin spreadsheets, right? That's going to help us illuminate our decision. Ooh, okay, so this is someone's team. Quite interesting. Yep, Ramsdale. The thing is, doesn't Gunnarsson just take away your third Arsenal player? Don't you want to attack Leeds this game week? I like the team, though. Thiago Silva, that's interesting. You've got James at so much more of a better price than me, so that's amazing. All right, let's have a look at... So what did we say we were going to look at? Right, like Ben Krellin, right? Let's just have a look at his spreadsheet for the sake of some science. So obviously, game week 18 is a blank. Like murky territory between AFCON as well. Potential blanks in 24-25. This is such an aggressive blank, though, this one. Who's better captain choice, Smith Rowe or Cancelo? I think Cancelo. You can get absolutely cucked Exactly. If you free hit and then games tomorrow get cancelled, Gunnarsson's loan to Brentford. Okay, that's fair enough. How do you feel about Real Madrid draw PSG? I think that's fine. I think I am a Madridista. I actually think we'll completely dominate PSG because right now their midfield is kind of holding on to Verratti, and I think we are more than capable of playing around that. Is this week worth the differential captain? I do believe so, yes. Salah is the obvious safe route, but not great for a major rank boost. Yep. I don't think Martinelli will start for sure, which is why we've done a Saka draft. Mount or Saka or Smith Rowe. The one thing that's true, guys, is that your game week could be screwed. Like, all the matches playing tomorrow could be cancelled. You don't know what exactly is going to happen. You know, all three of these games could really be cancelled. We have absolutely no clue what's going on. I can't believe Watkins going for a double transfer, double price increase. I can understand people going for players like Saka and stuff. So we'll see. I mean, this honestly just seems like pure luck. You know, I can't safely guarantee saying free hit is good. Double game weeks in the future will definitely happen. So that's the one thing I can say. Um, I think yeah, you can go for a roll just for an Arsenal player because that's the only game that we know is going to basically be confirmed to happen. You're thinking of doing Gun to Ramsdale and Livermento to Cash, but since the game is off, I'm confused. Should I do Guaita to Ramsdale and Sissoko to Saka? Yeah, I think targeting Arsenal is good if you guys haven't made your moves yet and you don't want to go for a free hit. I think targeting Arsenal is fantastic, or rather targeting leads through Arsenal. This is my cup opponent. What are your thoughts on his team? Sell 2020 for Laka. Could be a move. Well, Martinez and Watkins out. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's the issue with the free hit. I still think it might not be worth it, guys. I'm thinking Mbeumo out for Smith Rowe and maybe -4 to get Duffy out too. That's a good shout. With Bernardo maybe not starting to, would you? You could free hit this one, but honestly, I don't think your team's that bad. Not everyone has Ramsdale. They need to get Ramsdale. Um, you've got at least another Chelsea defender. I think you're in an okay position to roll. Unfortunately, plans change. Should I get Diaz and Saka for a free hit? Is a hit worth? The issue about bringing in a City player this week is that you don't know whether that game will continue. So I would only advise going for Arsenal transfers at this point in time. You've held Ronaldo because I won't be able to buy him again. Please save my. Honestly, I think your team's fine. Like I would literally just roll. The reason why is because you don't really have any other Arsenal players to go for unless you want to go out of Ronaldo. You want to keep Ronaldo, that's fine. You already have 3 Arsenal players, so you can't go for Lacazette anyways. You're actually basically in a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, and I actually think you're fine to just keep it as it is. A lot of people are going to be fielding blank teams, like 6 or 7 players. You should be fine with that. What would be a smart move here, considering the Aston Villa game got called off? It might be smart to go into Laka or an Arsenal mid. Agree. So you have 2 free transfers. Yeah, I think target maybe Saka Laka is interesting. Hey Fran, I have 1 free transfer and 1.2 in the bank. Should I get Ramsdale or Lacazette for Watkins? Probably Rams. So the thing is, maybe you could go, yeah, I'd go Lacazette just because what I think Aston Villa's next match is Chelsea, right? Yeah, exactly. Current plan for -8. I think Ramsdale sets me up for the future. Well, you have to cancel. Yeah, now you just do the -4 to play 9. -4, sorry. Let's have a look at Ronix. Hey, for any suggestions? Right, so Watkins out, so no forwards, 3 midfielders, 3 defenders. Just got to find out which Arsenal player I'd go for. Yeah, I think Saka, Laka are good picks. Martinelli, a bit more of an outside shout. Maybe he gets rested. Views on double keeper, though, that's tempting too. Whereas one free transfer and 1.1 in the bank was going to bring Ramsdale, Ben White, and Martinelli for -8 to field the full 11, but now Watkins is gone. Considering free hit anyways, but I fear that a week like this, where games happens on the day, might happen. Exactly. So I would just say go for an Arsenal transfer if you want. I wouldn't. I would probably advise against a free hit at this point in time. I'd say Cancelo's a better captain, but maybe you could. Yeah, you could. I wouldn't vice captain someone on the same day as Cancelo. So I would maybe vice captain Smith Rowe and just completely forget the Salah captaincy if you want. So maybe like vice captain Smith Rowe, then captain Cancelo. Does that make sense? Yeah, Watkins out is a big. The thing is, you can you go back to Lacazette if you really want to. I'm not sure if you do, because he does kind of kill team structure a little bit. He's quite expensive. Do you think I should take a -4 for Antonio to Lacazette to field 11? Would have wanted to do it for Watkins, but I'm 0.1 off after last night's price rise. Yeah, I see what you mean. Thoughts on this 4-5-1? De Bruyne. So I think the one thing is just I'd probably not want to. I'd still rather have your bench be at least players who can play, right? Like Amarty's not going to play, so what's the point of having him? And then I do kind of concur with people's arguments about Mount maybe not being that interesting this week, but it's up to you. I think this team works fine. Do I go for a free hit? If you got two free transfers, I would not go for a free hit. Arsenal defender, Arsenal forward for Vardy. I would not free hit. Free hit team. Interesting that you'd captain Foden over De Bruyne. That's the only thing I'd question. I think the rest of the team looks fine though. Can't field a full 11. Do you recommend any transfers? I've got one free transfer. So you already have 3 Arsenal. So we're already in a bad situation. I think you're. I would roll. Honestly, I would just roll. Yeah, honestly, I would roll. I just don't think the risk is worth it for you, and you have so many playing players. I think you're in a good position. Hey Fran, well, I was gonna get cash for Livramento, but no longer. Do you think I can get an Arsenal defender like White for Livra, or do I get out Antonio for Watkins for Lacazette? It's tough. Probably get an Arsenal defender so it doesn't kill your team structure. I would love to have both of those players. That's quite an interesting. Yeah, that's a good free hit. That looks like a good free hit team. Hopefully we don't get killed tomorrow, but we'll see what happens. Free hit. Oof. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, actually, no. You put 8 playing players. I think you're not in a bad position, to be honest. Would you recommend transferring in Smith Rowe for Benrahma and Antonio Talaka? I think you could do that. The reason why I say that is just because West Ham haven't looked that good lately, and Benrahma is definitely someone you want to get out of your team because he's not even playing consistently right now. And this is a convenient excuse for you to get out of those players, especially to attack a Leeds team that seem to be very weak. Thoughts on your team? Hope all the best. Yep, you as well. Look, I think you've actually got enough playing players. I think you leave it. Can, I think Foden or Cancelo are good captaincy shouts. Is it worth taking minus 12 using the free hit? Alright guys, let's just go back to chat very quickly. Yeah, Villa game is off. Absolutely, you're right. Does Salah have Corona? I think that's a rumor right now, so I don't think that's true. Should free hitters now captain De Bruyne over Foden? Yes, they should. Go for Jesus captain. The problem with Jesus is he actually is quite expensive. Differential captains, I think this is a good week to do it. You'd rather have Rafinha for Kovacic. Yeah, but I mean, there's just a difference in price, right, between Kovacic. Kovacic is what allows us to get a much stronger team. You're saying that just because I have money remaining. I would only have 6.1 remaining. So if I had like money in the bank, then I could go for Reguilon, right? Because ideally, I would just play a 4, and then I would play maybe like a 5-1, and then have Gelhardt off the bench. I would actually be tempted to play Gelhardt at home versus Arsenal. I think he gets a start. He could be quite an interesting kind of differential this week if you actually started with him. You could just go for a 5-4-1 though. Reguilon seems to be training just fine. Liverpool's obviously not a good game to have Reguilon though, which is the problem there. Like expending money on him doesn't seem that worthwhile. And I'm just not sure Rafinha gets anything versus Leeds. I mean, versus Arsenal, especially with their kind of issues. Like, Gelhardt is as far as I'd like to go with a Leeds player if I wasn't a free hit. And if I went for Rafinha, then I'd probably have to drop Foden to Gundogan, which is something I could do as well. Thank you so much, Mooks. So let's have a look at some more chats. Don't know. Hi, YouTube. Something different. Nice. Firmino, that's interesting, yeah. That's actually not a bad play. Because that would kind of take you quite out there with the but no Chelsea defense, that's quite interesting. It's definitely a little bit out there. I like it though. Oh, sorry. Many to Foden free transfer. Can't see any other player that I want. Yeah. Yeah. I'd always back a Foden transfer this week. 2 free transfers. Should I make a transfer out then Sanchez to Ramsdale? Yeah, I think definitely going to Ramsdale is fantastic this week. Free hit draft. Rudiger, fine. Yep. Oof, that's a strong team. So you're gonna basically play. Is Simicast just for value reasons? Fine. 4-5-1. Yeah, I like it. You've used free hit already? I'd probably go De Bruyne captaincy. But that's just me. As far as the rest of the team, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, first of all, you have to cut down on one of these players. So maybe Jota could be the player that you sacrifice so you can change the team, because I don't want you to be playing a Marty. So that's the only thing I'd say. Maybe like cut down Jota, improve the rest of the team as a result. Got this with a -8. Do I take a -12 and put Laka in? Ooh, okay. So I mean, people are making good fair shouts and comments that Martinelli could not, like, there might be a chance that he doesn't play. So have you already done a -8 already, or is this not confirmed? I think Laka would be a great punt this week, but -12, I'm not sure if it's worth it. Should I remove Bernardo for Gundogan? I don't think so. I still think you keep Bernardo this week. You definitely don't want to be free transferring out or even transferring out a side grade, especially a player who could play this week. Should you free hit or just leave it like it is? That's rough. You've got 4 playing players. 4 playing players, so you're missing out 7 players. Honestly, I might free hit it this week, if any. The reason why I say that is because you don't have any City players, so you're automatically in a much worse position than others. And it could be a great opportunity for you to get Arsenal players because you have none of them right now. So you at least you have at least maybe 1 to 2 players more than everyone else this week. If Arsenal's the only game that plays, and hopefully the other games play, and you should be hedged quite well. Like you could get a De Bruyne captaincy out of this week potentially, and that would be a great kind of shout. Yeah, I just think your situation is so much worse than others. I think it'd be worth going for a free hit. No more postponements now. Is this a free hit, by the way? Looks like a lovely team. Salah has COVID. Does he have COVID, guys? What is going on? I don't think Reguilon is going to play. I just go into an Arsenal attacker or midfielder. Would you take Watkins out this week? I mean, potentially. Just because the next game is Chelsea, right? Free hit. I have 1 free transfer and 4.5 in the bank. We get another player in. We could probably, honestly, you could just go for an Arsenal player this week. Maybe go out of Watkins or Antonio for Lacazette and probably just live with that. I think that's good enough. We don't know exactly what's going to happen with the other suspensions. And like I can't guarantee the City game is going to go on. If you're taking a free hit, it's going to be a gamble. You guys have to know that. Like Liverpool might be cancelled. Hendo has COVID. What is going on? Why don't they just postpone the game? Wait, sorry, the Man City game is postponed. What? Okay, fake news. Nice. This is your team from Gameweek 7. Okay, so who do we have playing? So we have James, Trent, Cancelo. You've got 4 defenders. You've got 4 midfielders. You've got 9 players. Honestly, I think you're in a good position. I think you can just go Laka, right? I don't think you -4 out of Watkins because honestly, what is going on with this game week? Is free hit the right move? What is going on? Are there any news on Man City, on Liverpool? Just seems like a bit of fake news, right? What a mental game week. Doesn't seem like there's any Salah news. Is Lacazette confirmed to play? He should be playing because Aubameyang is still out of the team. So that should be a big plus for if you wanted to go into Lacazette. Antonio to Lacazette or Livermore to Tierney? Yeah, I mean... Oh, sorry, that was the academy, right? Okay, fair enough. Is taking a hit to get Watkins out a good idea? 8 to play, since it seems like Villa game won't go ahead. Yeah, I mean... It's so hard to actually give advice because the situation is so ridiculous. How do I feel about the Jesus transfer? I think it's a good transfer if you're, let's say, missing your whole strike force. Jota or Foden for Bernardo Silva. I wouldn't go out of Bernardo Silva this week, guys. Honestly, it just doesn't seem worth it for me. Doug Luiz to Kovacic for a hit? Probably not. What is going on? Literally just got Martinez for a -4. The 10 minutes later, postponed YOLO and took a -12 for until this week. No way. I mean, honestly, I look right now. It looks like a good squad. Is it going to be that case tomorrow? Hopefully, it is for you. Yeah. I mean, it looks good for now. That's all I can really say. Like, that's unfortunate. Honestly, like I've literally got no clue. I'm just literally reading the news as it comes. I might not do DG David De Gea to Ramsdale. Do we have to go for Lacazette? That's crazy. Honestly, like I really don't think there's much we can do. There's gonna be doubts in every single game. The thing is, Spurs had COVID concerns more than 2 weeks ago, and as we know, usually with like the negative tests, the rules in England, and stuff like that, more than 10 days, I think, is the usual quarantine period. So that should have already come and gone for Spurs, and they should be back in training. So there are already plenty of photos of Spurs being in training. Um, yeah, I think going for Arsenal is just the safest play. If you have transfers, you just go for Arsenal players. On the FPL app, it lists Arsenal versus Lead date to be confirmed. But the thing is that there's no outbreak news, and this is crazy. The fact I literally have no keeper this week is what making me worse. I am actually one of them. One of those idiots. My bad. Oof. What a mental game week. I have literally no clue. You're going to vice captain Lacazette because if games get counted, yeah, I think that's a good shout. If you have two free transfers and use them for this game week, you can use your free hit on the same game week. If you have two transfers and use them for this game week, you can use your free hit on the same game week. I think so, yeah. Yeah, I think just going for an Arsenal player is quite safe because they're not a bad team. They have Norwich next, and we'll see what happens. Should you go for Ramsdale, Gabriel, or Laka? Probably Lacazette to attack this game week best. You're not going to take a hit. Free chance, yeah, exactly. Honestly, I'm pretty stumped. I think this game week is looking horrific. Simon March has complained. An official FPL winner. It's just crazy that the games are being postponed so late. Like, I'm just out of ideas. I think you just go for Arsenal players and you forget about it. Like, don't play your free hit, probably. But if you're playing for a free hit, like, best of luck, obviously. Try and target as many Arsenal players as possible. Put your vice captain on an Arsenal player at the very least. And then see what happens there. I don't know. This is honestly, FPL is just becoming a bit of a joke. Why aren't we talking about Rafinha captaincy? Because Leeds have like 3 to 4 huge injuries that would definitely impact the way that Rafinha can actually create chances. If you watch the Man City game, I think he had 0 effective touches. Like, Jack Harrison was the most lethal player in that game. And obviously Arsenal aren't Man City, but missing Bamford, missing Phillips, missing Jamie Shackleton, which pushes Dallas further back, missing Daniel James as well, another creative outlet. It's bad. I would still say probably free hit is not recommended. I don't want to take a minus 40, obviously, guys. Considering Laka, but he doesn't seem good long term. I mean, honestly, our best situation is we hope that Arsenal play like absolute, you know, shite, and we just do well. Like, we probably live in a situation where if Arsenal get destroyed, then that's the best situation for everyone, right? I'm actually just tempted just to leave it as it is. I'm not going to take any hits, I think, for players, and I'll probably just, like, I'll make do with the situation as it is. The thing is, I just can't see how Arsenal don't get a good result versus Leeds. Like, I'm hoping for something I'm almost certain won't happen. Just because Arsenal have a full strength squad and Leeds clearly do not. They have so many injuries. Stones or Laporte, probably Laporte. Alright, guys, let's own up. Who's brought in Watkins this week? Very confident. Exactly, as Rover says, I'm also very confident about an Arsenal win. I think their players are flying. Leeds should be looking to actually get crushed, in my opinion, and that's just the state of it. Getting Laka and Diaz for this game week. We'll have a full playing 11 given the rest of the games go on. Stones Laporte. Is a minus 12 acceptable for this week? Probably not. I don't think you need to have a playing 11, guys. You only have 3 players playing Jim. I'm so sorry about that. How is that even possible, though? That's awful. I'm one of those over 1 million idiots. You know, we can join the club. Oh god. You're using your wild. Please, please. Wait, have you locked in the wildcard already? Oh god. Okay. Ramsdale, Sanchez, fine. Martinelli, Lacazette, interesting. Cancelo, Foden, fine. Bowen. I mean, Rudiger, James, Trent, Cancelo. That's the only thing I can say, but it's so tough because I know you don't have that much money to squeeze. This is such a terrible game week. This is actually horrific. Why displace Watkins? Because Watkins isn't playing this week. And his next match is going to be Chelsea, or it could be postponed because of the fact that they have a COVID outbreak, you know? Do you think there's a forward that is worth it for this weekend? Lacazette does not look very promising. There literally is no other option. If you want another option, it's Gelhardt. Like, Gelhardt is the only other option I would consider this week. How is Gallagher going down in price? This is crazy. Everyone's just trying to knee-jerk into a Man City midfielder. I can't even justify that though, because if City gets their game cancelled, it's not even worth the hit. And he has to assess ours kids. Hey Fran, I have only 9 players playing this game week. Do you think it's worth it to take a -4 and get Smith through? I don't think it's worth going Laporte because you have no idea whether Laporte will. You don't even know whether the City game will start in the first place, so it's not worth it. I mean, Jesus could score Tejas. That's totally fine. I don't think Jesus is a bad pick whatsoever. The thing with Jesus is that you don't know whether he's going to be playing tomorrow, so it's not even really worth spending your money on Jesus. Do you know what I mean? Think about it. If you brought in Watkins last night, or you brought in Watkins sometime today before the news of the postponement came out, you would be in the exact same position tomorrow with Jesus. You know, there are no rumors for the Man City game, but you don't know what's going to happen. Someone in the chat kindly mentioned that there were some issues. Laka and Matip in for -4, or just Laka with 9 players starting. I mean, I would just go Laka. I don't see the point in bringing Matip in this week. Okay, buddy. See you. Can you imagine Arsenal versus Leeds gets cancelled now? I don't think it. I mean, it could be. It really could be because we saw that Aston Villa did get cancelled quite late. I'm not doing anything in particular now. I might just keep the team as it is. Wait for any kind of potential news. If you activate free hit before the Gameweek 18 deadline, then your transfer hits will be undone, and you'll start Gameweek 18 on 0 points. I would advise against activating any chips or making any more transfers before 3.4, which is... Yeah, that's fine on 0 points, yeah. Yeah, so if you guys didn't know, actually, in terms of free hits, man, honestly, like, the news is so crazy. Captain De Bruyne, I would say KDB. It's rough. Watkins to Lacazette for a -12. Honestly, if you really want to play aggressive, do it, but I don't think it's great. Gabriel/Tony is a better long-term option. Yeah, I agree with that for sure. Than Antonio Talaka. I mean, Antonio hasn't been a good short or medium-term option for the last 10 weeks. The worst part is that the real fans going to the field, they're quite pissed off. Is that true? Wow, that's sad. So do you think it's best to wait and see if there's any news? Yeah, I think it's best to wait for the Arsenal news 100%. Jesus won't play 90 minutes regardless. Well, that's the thing, though. You don't necessarily need City players to play 90 minutes. If you owned Gunnigan, for example, last week, you would have known that he came off the bench after 45 minutes and had 2 assists. Vardy to Lacazette, yeah, I think I'm happy with that transfer, but just wait until the last minute possible. Best goalie for possible free hit, probably Ramsdale 100%. How many players you got right now? I've got 7 playing players. Will Bernardo start? I don't think so, but I think he can come off the bench and contribute, so I would keep him on your team. I'm on smoke today. I mean, pretty much. It's tough. It's tough. Like it's really hard to yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can really do. It's a terrible game week. But yeah, definitely put a vice captain, probably an Arsenal player. Sell anyone who doesn't have a fixture. Buy someone else's fixture. I really think there's also, just to reiterate, there's no need to really have 11 players this week. You don't really need to have 11 players. A lot of people are going to be fielding 6, 7, 8, 9 players. Like, some people free hitting might have all their games cancelled tomorrow. You never know what's going to happen. I'm probably going to leave my team as it is, TB12. Like, worst case scenario, I think I bring in an Arsenal player for a -4. I'm not going to free hit. I agree. I think double game weeks and triple game weeks are going to be better. At the end of the day, the EPL shouldn't have to make decisions based off FPL community. No, I agree with that 100%. They have every right to wait as long as possible to see whether the game can go through or not. Yeah, I agree. And that just tells you that FPL is clearly not some sort of, like, game that should be taken with a lot of integrity. Like, it is a very luck-based game. Your season can go multiple different ways because of things that you can't anticipate. And that's just life. Like, you just have to treat FPL as a game with a lot of variance at the end of the day. That's it. 7 players on. Should I go for a free hit? I would probably not free hit, guys. I have 7 players and I'm not free hitting. Full disclosure. Whew. Rough game week, though. Settle on this for now. Let's have a look at some message requests. Oh, there's no message requests. That's fine. It seems like everyone's just stay safe. Yeah, exactly. That's the most important message. Just take care of yourselves. Oh God, Vinay, I'm so sorry about that. Well, I think one thing that we could do is we could postpone the stream, and I can see you guys back at 3 o'clock. I hope you guys take care. Merry Christmas. Try to stay safe. Try to make sure that you take your life as a priority, and I hope you guys navigate through this safely with your family as well. And take care. Hopefully the game gets postponed, but I don't think they'll do anything for us. If you are free hitting, let's see, have a look. Ramsdale, James, Matip, Rudiger, Alonso, Salah, Foden, De Bruyne, Sterling, Smith, or Lacazette. I think that's a great team. Honestly, how you've managed to fit in Foden, De Bruyne, and Sterling is beyond me, but somehow you've done it, so well done. That could be quite a monstrous team if the City game goes through. I have to say, though, you want to just fill up your bench with some kind of Leeds options, at least, because Leeds players should be playing. You should stay streaming until deadline, mate. Will be no stream from Let's Talk FPL or FPL, mate. It's a good chance for more viewers. So you want me to stream until 4 p.m.? I could stream for another 2 hours and 30 minutes. Yeah, that's possible. 2 hours and 20, actually. Should I just order some food and then just stay with you guys? Whoops, I forgot to include Rudiger to Diaz. Rudiger to Diaz. Yeah, I'll take a break. What do you think are the best cheap forward options to bring this week? Gelhardt for sure, because Gelhardt will play. I think Gelhardt is the best cheap forward option. It could be a good chance for new subs, absolutely. So I obviously do appreciate a lot of you guys coming on, so that's really nice. But for another 2 hours and 20 minutes, the problem is I don't really have too much to say, right? Selling Watkins is smart. If you want to go for Lacazette, I think that could be a play. As far as Guaita to Ramsdale for a hit, probably worth it as well, just because it's a really good fixture for Ramsdale, and ideally Ramsdale's a season keeper. Exactly. Aston Villa, you could see back-to-back postponements, right? It could be the exact same scenario as the Man City game. Thank you so much, Magic Master Tricks. Yeah, if you guys could hit the like button and subscribe, that'd be really, really appreciated. But yeah, the issue, right, if you if you have brought in Watkins, just like me, is that there is a very high chance that you can see a double postponement. So that happened to United. There's already a basis for there. I'm basically putting out only 7 players at this point in time. I don't really want to take a hit for anyone. Maybe I have to go out of Watkins because the situation is so bad. So that could be something I could do. I think a -4 for an Arsenal player is not a bad move. I can't justify really too many City transfers. I think City are a very professional team, but that doesn't really mean anything. A lot of them could be double jabbed. You could still have an outbreak. I don't know what's the case with Aston Villa. There's no point really conjecturing. And obviously City's opponents could have a COVID outbreak themselves. So, Newcastle could have a COVID outbreak. You don't know what is going to happen there. Planning to just play 8 players, I think that's fine. I think, like, worst case scenario, I might just go for a -4 to Lacazette and just just stick my vice captaincy on him. That could be something I could do. How to squeeze out that 0.1 million? I think you just go for Laporte, my friend. Yeah, I think that's the most logical way to squeeze that 0.1 million. So I've activated it and I want to change a player. You can do it for free. So the one thing I'd say about Laporte is that John Stones was playing right back last week and he didn't look very good. And so the position should probably be contested between Laporte and Diaz. Sorry, Laporte and Stones alongside Diaz, because Diaz was rested early. I would actually say that he definitely favors Laporte a bit more as a center back. So that's kind of how I see things. Who are you -4ing for? What other forward option would you choose to replace Broja and Watkins? I mean, I think it's... So I think at this week... The reason why is because if you drop Watkins, we don't, like, for example, for the rest of the season, you could keep playing a 4-5-1. So you don't necessarily need both Lacazette and Watkins in your team. Watkins can go. You can drop Watkins to Gelhardt. You have Broja, who's a consistent player. Gelhardt might be phased out of the team once the injuries fix up. But then at the very least, you have 5 playing players. Maybe you can upgrade Martinelli to Saka or something like that. And then you could also upgrade Davies and just, like, it could look like a very strong 5 at the back if you want. Or you could just go for basically a Bowen upgrade into a Man City midfielder, which would allow you to have 3. You have 6 players and you need help. Okay, let's have a look. I mean, I would say the only transfer I would really prioritize this week is probably just going to be Lacazette. I think none of the other moves make sense because we don't have enough news about things like that. So I would only advise a move on Lacazette. And other than that, I think you just keep it as it is. To bring in Ramsdale, Laka, and Tomiyasu for Schmeichel, Antonio, and Cash. If you really want to play a playing 11, that's fine. That's fine. If they're all Arsenal players, to free hit or to not free hit, I would not free hit, guys, just in general, unless you're in a really bad spot. Want to move out of Ronaldo this week, -4 for Ronaldo to Lacazette and Sissoko Saka. I think, yeah, holding off Ronaldo is a good decision. Feeling positive. Mate, you are in such a good spot. That's crazy. That's crazy, Seth. It would be a good chance. Yeah, selling Watkins is smart. I think so. If you're going for Lacazette, this is the only way I'd say it makes sense. Planning to just play 8 players, I think that's fine. You don't want Lacazette, he stinks, but the only striker available. I agree, Lacazette does proverbially stink, but you'd rather go into Lacazette than Lamptey to Arsenal defense. I could do that as well, Arsenal defense. It would probably be Tomiyasu or Tierney. We'll see what happens there. Should I do a minus to make 11 or leave 10 players with no hit? I would probably say if you have 10 players, that's fine. I would just play 10 players. Would you take a -8 to bring in Ramsdale if you already had 10 playing players? I mean, yeah, I would, because Ramsdale is that good as a keeper. Lukaku, Brownhill, and Liverpool to either Lacazette, Rafinha, and Tomiyasu, or Lacazette, Foden, and Davies as 0.1 short of Tomiyasu and want Davies long term anyways, or just do Lacazette and Foden in. I kind of like the Lacazette and Foden in moves. It depends on whether you have Ramsdale as your keeper. Who do you think is more important? Laka/White/ESR/Saka. I think for this specific game week, I would choose between Laka and Saka. Because I'm still not sure whether Smith Rowe gets the start. I think he might. But I think Lacazette has a very strong chance of scoring versus a Leeds team who always give chances away in the central positions. But anyways, guys, I am going to take a probably 1 hour and 20-minute break. Maybe I'll catch you guys in the live stream later. We'll see what happens. And we'll try and navigate what's going on with the Arsenal situation. Hopefully it doesn't get postponed. We'll see what happens. If you have Ramsdale as your keeper, that immediately drops the priority of some of the other players in the team. I'd definitely say focusing on Lacazette and /Foden is interesting. I can check one Twitter DM very quickly. You already have done Sanchez Ramsdale, got 2.8 in the bank, thinking to do Bowen to Foden for a -4, can later bring back Bowen. But the thing with Foden is you don't know whether the Man City game will be cancelled, so I would say probably not. If there's anything I can actually vouch for a -4, it would be going for Arsenal players. You have absolutely no certainty that City players will play this week, that's the issue. Thoughts on this, just worried about Laporte, any suggestions? I think that's a good move, to be honest, if you're worried about Laporte. And then you can still actually improve one of the... Yeah, I think next week could get worse in theory because there's such a short turnaround, so that's the issue. I think that's quite wise if you can actually save. Hi, Fran, what do you think about Tierney for Reguilon for -4? If you can give me any other tips. I honestly, Reguilon could play, so I wouldn't do anything there. I'd only focus on Laka this week for your team. Alright, guys, no more transfers, no more knee-jerking. We'll see you guys in a bit. I'm just going to get some lunch and then... Just tweeted saying plug your deadline streams for him to shout out. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I'm not going to be streaming until 3 p.m. I just want to take a little bit of a break, and then we can probably catch up with you guys when the deadline, like around just like, yeah, 3 p.m. So I'll catch you guys probably within an hour's time, and maybe I'll just reach out to FPL Mate. Take care, guys. I'll see you guys in a very, very short while, so I'll see you guys in an hour.